Hey you guys, it is William calling from wiwibloggs, and me and Tom have just watched semi-final 2 of Eurovision 2023 here inside the press room in Liverpool. Should we talk about it?
Let's do this.
And I should have prefaced that by I'm sitting here with star of stage and screen and Ted Lasso goalkeeper Tom Hendrick. Your reputation precedes you. Now listen, let's start by talking about who didn't qualify. Denmark, Georgia, Greece, Iceland, Romania, San Marino. Who would you have kept? Who are you most heartbroken for?
I'm so heartbroken for Georgia, though I would say that they were not in my top 10, but they were really on the fence. It was an incredible performance. My word, does she have those power and some pipes. But someone had to go, and I don't think maybe she didn't resonate with the audience because it was very big for the whole 3 minutes. There was no light and shade. It was punch. It was power. That was for me.
Yeah, no, I get it.
What do you think?
So the thing is, if a jury had been here, she would have gone through.
100%.
Because her voice may be the strongest in this entire semi-final.
Oh my, the juries would have respected her voice.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, I don't think they had the biggest budget because the staging was great for what it cost, I think. And she was her best prop. The way she moved her body, the storm that she became.
Absolutely.
I loved so many elements of this. I think we had this discussion earlier. Basically, I feel like Albania probably came 9th or 10th, and that was mainly because we didn't have a real Eastern European bop or something, Balkan, with that strong regional identity. Absolutely. And Albania had that. So maybe that's why the likes of Georgia, which was on the fence, got kicked out.
Absolutely agree. There was nothing like Albania. And I think, yes, absolutely. I thought it was either going to be Albania or Georgia for that 10th spot. Albania won the day because there was nothing like it in the field. They brought that tradition, that flavor, that there was nothing of the dancing, the costumes. And people around that area and the surrounding countries would have wanted something like this in the final.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to mirror your leg posture. So it's psychological. No, it has to. It's very psychological. But let's talk about our other impressions. In terms of who won this semifinal, I'm kind of torn. I think it was either Australia or Slovenia. I'm going with Slovenia. I think Slovenia had so much stage presence.
Absolutely.
There was something about it. It just felt natural, easy. They've been doing it the whole pre-party tour. Slovenia just nails it.
I couldn't agree more. I think because Slovenia was put on, or they put themselves, of course, in that stage surrounding the audience.
Oh, yeah.
That created an amazing effect that it was their concert.
Yeah.
That they were almost an interval act because they're so popular and they're huge stars.
Yeah.
They had this wonderful presence of just some lads having a good time on stage.
Right.
And that resonated with me.
Nothing was forced.
Nothing was forced.
Completely organic, completely authentic, completely natural. It was like another gig for them.
Yes. It was another gig. It was, of course, Eurovision is very special, but it was like, this is no biggie. We do this every day, performing to 200 million people. It was fantastic.
And I think with other people, like Australia is actually a good counterpoint. I loved Australia. I thought it was fantastic, a great show closer, but it's very showbiz, boom, over the top. Slovenia is like, we don't need none of that. Yeah. We've got enough charisma in Bojan's eyes and our fashion and our presence, and that speaks volumes.
Absolutely. So with Slovenia, there were no tricks, there were no gimmicks. They were just a band having a great time on stage. Australia, they killed it. They finished the show perfectly. You just felt how you should feel at the end of the semi-finals, just full of passion and energy.
Yeah.
Yes, they did have a few tricks up their sleeve with the car, with the guitar. There was a hint of kitsch. There was a hint of kitsch, but
there was a bucket of kitsch.
There was a bucket of kitsch.
But
okay,
it was fun.
I was trying to be nice, William.
No, but it's a good thing.
Yes,
we
absolutely.
need that in Eurovision, and this is why I love Australia at Eurovision. They go for it.
They go for it, and they finished the show absolutely perfectly. Congratulations, Australia. For me, I don't think it won the day. I think it would be remiss to discount Austria. It would be remiss to discount Austria. Now, I did when I watched the rehearsal before this live show. I was a little bit worried, not that they wouldn't qualify, of course they'd qualify, but what I was worried that it was a little bit too conservative with the material that they were giving. I thought there'd be a bit more a bit more, I don't know, a little pizzazz or something to it. But now watching it back on screen, it was classy, it felt more professional. There was just an element of, this is also lots of Slovenia. This is no big whoop for us as well. We'll sing a song about Edgar Allan Poe, and you'll enjoy it. And it's not kitsch, and it's just It's just us, and it's professional.
Slick, arresting, haunting, the black, the red, the white. Very simple block coloring,
Yes.
which really hits you. Also, the repetition of po, 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 po. We've heard it many, many times.
Yes.
But if you're a viewer in Europe who has not yet discovered
It'd be
this...
novelty, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got the voice, they've got the charisma.
Yeah.
It did at times feel less energetic than I expected.
That was a lack of movement.
Yeah.
And because it was just the black and red all the time, I think that kind of was a result of the lack of energy, because there was no real change.
Yeah, I do think this could have won the semi still. I
Yes.
really do. It's between Slovenia and Austria for me. And then I think Australia maybe was just behind that.
yeah,
Because I don't think Rock can come 1 and 2. I think that the Rock in a way cancels each other out. But yeah, Austria, fantastic job. One big grower for me, huge grower, was Lithuania. I think Monika really nailed it vocally, and it was the perfect mix of vulnerability and power, right? We know she can sing, but we also saw the softness. Her and her girls, her sisterhood. It was so touching. And at the very end, when it goes kind of black and white monochrome with her in the orange dress, she pops out. The world just has disappeared because our girl's front of the stage, and she is healing.
Absolutely. But I couldn't agree less with you.
Oh, snap.
It was
Oh,
never
snap.
a grower. It was brilliant from the off.
Okay,
When I
fair.
watched it yesterday and when I watched it today, it gave me goosebumps. Every time Monika sings, she gives me goosebumps. There's something special about her voice. One gripe that I have with Monika today, which I had not seen before, for the first half of that show, she didn't look into the camera. I want to say,
Yeah.
look at me, like, give me some eye
Let me
contact.
tell you, I heard you saying this during the live broadcast. You're like, look at me, give me some eye contact.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to feel what you're feeling, because I do, but there's nothing like eye contact in normal life on screen. I need that eye contact, and hopefully she'll do that on.
Girl, you're giving us way too much intel here. We're gonna move on. I loved Belgium. This was a huge grower. I've been discounting this all season.
Yeah.
Not discounting it, but I didn't think it would do this well. But bringing Pussy, the dancer from the House of Pussy, absolutely killed it. It added dynamism. The graphics look bigger and bolder. Those huge shadow figures behind them, like you felt like there were larger than life characters behind you. And Gustaph absolutely came to life. His reaction when he went through was priceless. That was so sweet. That's like an emotional moment of the semifinal for me.
I couldn't agree with you more this time. This is my
Like a pendulum here, Tom.
This is it. But this is one of my biggest growers. It brought the house down. Not just in the show, here in the press room as well. Everyone loved Gustaph today. It was one of my biggest growers. I never cared for this song beforehand. I never cared for it. But on stage, live, with the new dancers, with their stage show, it was wonderful. It was brilliant. He also looked like a marshmallow. Fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, delicious pink. What are those little duckies called y'all have at Easter? They're like marshmallow ducks. Is that America or UK?
I think that's America. I
Okay,
don't know
never
what you're
mind. We're
talking
moving on. Let's talk about Poland Blanka solo. This one really stands out to me. I think it's funny how they have all these on-screen graphics. I don't know if they're necessary.
No.
It's a bit much because I think she's visually striking enough and strong enough to slay without them.
Yes.
However, maybe when they're on screen, something's happening, like there's a quick changeover or something they need to hide.
Yes.
It's an interesting way to kind of progress the act. I would probably prefer if they weren't there, and maybe they only had the one leading to the dance break, because that one I like, where she pops out of like the cloud and suddenly she's like got a leg in the air and a head behind her head behind her leg behind her head. I mean, that's incredible.
Again, I couldn't agree with you more. The graphics not ruined it, but it ruined it a little bit for me, because when I watched it yesterday in the rehearsal, and I obviously just watched her, and the stage show was brilliant.
Yeah.
I watched the national final, and the difference between that and what I saw today was just, it grew exponentially. The voice, the dancing, the dance break.
It's a great dance break.
worked.
That's probably my favorite dance break in a sea of dance breaks.
Yes, there were a lot of dance breaks, but Blanka absolutely killed it. It made all the haters stop, watch, and made them eat their words. Blanka, and I'm so proud of Polska today, because she absolutely killed it. But lose some of those those weird graphics. They're not necessary. She's the star. Don't make the graphics a star.
The opening one was like a camcorder. Is that meant to say she's going on holiday somewhere tropical and like she wants to record it and share it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that commercial in the UK where the woman's walking backwards.
Oh yeah.
And, like, I was getting that vibe.
Yeah.
And it's just not necessary because she again is so strong without it. She's beautiful. Let's just face it.
Yes.
The camera loves her and she loves the camera. And I'm hitting rewind, replay on that.
100%.
All right. Who else should we talk about? Albania going through. What do you make of that?
Albania, as we spoke about in the beginning of the video, Albania was brilliant. It filled a void within the field. The traditional elements of the show, the performance, the dancing, the costumes, the voice.
That opening note, that's a moment.
Gorgeous.
It goes on and on and on in a good way. One thing that's funny to me is how she has all the jewels on her outfit, but her family, they ain't got no jewels. No. So she's the rich queen of the family.
She's the star. She's
spending the family fortune.
Absolutely, she's the star of the show, and I'm glad that she was the one who stood out with the jewels, with the impressive, beautiful dress, with that voice, with that note at the end. It filled a void that the field didn't have. That traditional element. We need that. For me, we need that in Eurovision. It's important for that in Europe, for that kind of songs in Eurovision, and I am delighted.
Well, since we've talked about most of the countries, let's keep going. Cyprus, Andrew Lambrou. This is an interesting one. A lot of people have called this a safe song, very like slick, very Swedish, very polished. But for me, why this works is he really seems to connect with it. Like he really loves this song and he really feels something when he sings it. And that's why it escapes being generic. I think they kept it simple, right? They wanted his emotion to be the star here. They didn't want a big fancy prop. They didn't want a big old seashell like Andromache. They wanted his heart to be the prop. And that's why this got through.
Absolutely. I mean, the LEDs, though they were simple, with the waterfall and the fire, the blaze, two things in common. Power. There's power in the waterfall, there's power in the blaze, and there was power coming out of his voice. Everything worked. Though, yes, it was simple, but it matched what was going on stage. It was a brilliant performance. Yes, arguably a safe song, arguably a forgettable song. In the final, I do worry that it will get lost among the other 25 songs, other songs, but I'm glad it got through to the final.
It's interesting. A lot of what you just said, I want to apply to Estonia, the only other act we haven't discussed. First of all, shout out to Wouter Hardy, who there's been some drama, about his involvement in Arcade. Y'all can read the internet and see all that. So he's not representing the Netherlands here, but guess what? The song he worked on, Bridges, made the final, and the Netherlands did not. So he must be having some kind of karma moment.
It was the voice.
Yeah.
It was her voice. It was mesmerizing. It was absolutely beautiful. One thing I will say is I was initially worried, how are they going to do the whole piano gimmick thing? How she's not playing the piano, she is playing the piano, and the piano is always playing, but they steered into that skid straight away. Here is a piano that is automatically playing. So I had to just say that before I start talking lyric about her voice. She was beautiful. How old is she? She seems really young.
Yeah, she's like 20, I think.
With that voice?
Incredible.
Oh my, she blew me away. For me, that was one of the best voices of the night. Her and Monika.
Yeah. She's so steady. She doesn't miss. She always hits. And despite looking a little frail, innocent, and young, she's got this diva inside. The beast comes out. And I liked some of her movements. She has like a bit where she jerks back very forcefully.
Yes.
It's like she ain't walking the bridge.
Not too much.
Perfectly pitched and perfectly placed.
Absolutely.
And I think there weren't that many. We don't have any power ballads this year. She's one of the few.
No.
Is she the only one in this semi-final?
Lithuania as well.
Yeah, those two, and they both went through.
Yes.
And that's really interesting. Baltic neighbors slaying the power ballads. Yes, Chuto and Chuto girl. You know those lyrics. But yeah, neighbor. But so good for Estonia. I think Estonia is one of those countries you always want to root for.
Yes.
Like, I'm not a massive fan of the song. Like, I don't need it's not something I'm going to put on my Spotify.
Yep.
But I like the visual performance for the reasons you said.
100%.
The piano was cute. She looked great. Well done. Well, look, Tom, we have all of the acts for the grand final of the Eurovision Song Contest. We're going to have a separate video predicting the final. We're going to film that tomorrow. But I just want to know, after tonight's show, has your list of top songs changed? Do you think anyone from semifinal 2 could challenge for a top spot?
My list did change after tonight. Estonia were not in my top 10 on the night. They absolutely were after that performance. Is there anyone to challenge the top? No. I think the winner will still come out from semi-final 1. and maybe one of the top.
Let me clarify
big
that.
5 countries.
You think it's going to be Finland,
Yes.
Sweden,
Yes.
or Spain?
Correct. I
Same.
think the win is going to be out of Finland, Sweden, or Spain. I think Blanka Paloma's performance, I've seen it in its whole, and it is just incredible.
She plugs all the holes. It is so modern. The way they've used the lights. Spain is really here. Of the big 6 then, you know, we were talking about Lazaro when we saw the staging, but vocally, that clip we saw in semifinal 1 was not particularly good.
No.
And after that, I've been convinced that Spain will perform the best of the big 5 and Ukraine.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, Spain will win out of the top 5, or including Ukraine 6. Zara, I just hope maybe she had a bad day.
Yeah. But you get to choose the clip, right?
True,
and so
that's
that
true.
means the other 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worries me actually.
It does worry me, especially. I thought France could challenge for the title initially, and then the clip kind of. I'm worried, but I'm hopeful. I'm still hopeful, and I can't wait to see the whole thing. I still think Spain is going to come top out of the top 5. It will. I think it will. France won't challenge anymore. Spain will. We'll see out of the bloodbath that is Spain, Finland, and Sweden.
Yeah. Oh, breaking news. Oh, we have the halves of the running order. We got to go write a post. But listen, that's what we think. What do you think? Are you happy with the 10 qualifiers from semi-final 2 of Eurovision 2023? Can any of these acts challenge for the win? Who's your favorite? Let us know here on wiwibloggs.
And make sure you hit that subscribe bell. And if you are in Liverpool, make sure you do come down to the Lush Lounge.
Yeah. We'll see you later. Bye.